Evening, my wonderful people. Good evening. How are we doing? How are you all doing? I trust we are all doing fine by His grace. And I know it has been, for some of us quite hectic. But I pray that we are all doing fine. Good evening. As you come in, please help me, help us do what we do best. Good evening, patience. Good evening, Folashade. Good evening, goodness. How are you doing? Long time. Yes, goodness, long time. How are you doing? I am fine, Folashade. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening. You are all welcome and thank you for being on time. God bless you for that. Goodness, talk to me. Longest time, what happened? I welcome you all to another edition of Discovery Time. Thank you, goodness. Help us do what we do best, call in the Calvary. Let them know that there is another edition going on and it's going to be awesome. Oh, we are all doing fine. Thank you so much. We are doing fine. And yours? You are all welcome, welcome, welcome to this special, special time. Discovery time is where we unravel some things. Most of the time, we already know them, but to bring us back in, our to remind us again what it's all about, what life is all about, and what we are meant to do here. So, help me, help us. Let's do what we do best, call in the Calvary, because this evening and actually this month, because we're in a new month, by the way, welcome to August. Welcome to the month of remembrance and reward. God is going to remember all of us and He's going to reward us accordingly to His glory in the mighty name of Jesus. So you are welcome. Welcome to this month. And the topic of this month is the importance of order. We've been having series of different topics. Last month we did brokenness. And this month, we are going to deal on the importance of order. And we are going to take it from different aspects. I was very excited when I had the topic. Thank you so much, Patience. Thank you for you too. Thank you so much. So I was really excited. I'm still excited because sometimes you get topic and you actually don't know how it's going to end, or from which angle. But I am so grateful that each time a topic comes, God always lead me. The Holy Spirit leads me to take it from different angle and aspect that really touches our lives. So that's what this period is also going to be. Good evening, Debbie. You are welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. God bless you. How are you doing? Yes, it's good to see you. It's good to see all of you. It's good to see all of you again. I'm so grateful that you are all online and I do not take your time for granted. Good evening, Bisola. How are you doing? I hope you can stay a bit longer today. My day has been fine. It has really been fine, to the glory of God. Busy, hectic a bit, but fine. Soon you guys will know why it has been so hectic. But we give God all the glory. God is doing some wonderful things. And I am just, I am blessed. I am blessed that God is using me and using all of us that are part of this wonderful vision that He has given us um, to do His work. Good evening, Ebenezer. How are you doing? I'm fine, Debbie. Thank you. Good evening, Mary. Mary. Let me just cut it short and call you Mary. How are you doing, Mary? I'm fine, Ebenezer. I'm so fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're all welcome. So, welcome to the month of August once again, and welcome to the month of remembrance and reward. We are going to receive our reward this month and beyond to His glory. Yes. So, this month we are going to deal on the importance of order. Let me first ask if you guys, when you hear order, I think every one of us we have an idea of what is order, but can someone define chaos? And I thank God I have my um, dictionary here in the person of Debbie that will really download the dictionary definition for us. But please, in your own word, what, how can you define chaos? In your own word, please. How can you define chaos? We give God the glory. Well, while we are thinking about chaos, I was just thinking about like, wow, we're already in August. It's very soon now the Imba month will start, and then before we know it, we are at the end of 2024. So I was just asking my daughter, I was like, why is time flying? Why is time flying? I was doing drama, and she also dramatically answered, well, Mama, I think because it doesn't have legs to land on. So the time is flying according to her because time has no legs to land on. That's why it is flying. So please don't try to catch don't try to catch time because time will continue to fly. It doesn't have legs to land on. Good evening, Perpetual. You're welcome. You're welcome. How are you doing? Yeah. So yeah, I thought I said, wow, that's a good one. That's really a good one. Time is flying because it has no legs to land on. That's really a good one. Okay, so I said, give me your own definition of chaos. And Bisola says chaos is when one is in a state of confusion and disorder. All right, thank you. My day has been fine. Thank you so much, Perpetual. Thank you so much. How are you? Nigeria is busy doing. We are following it as well, all the protests going on, and we are praying also for the safety of everyone. Um, God will do what needs to be done to His glory. Because Africa, we have such a wonderful and beautiful continent, but we need to wake up and make things happen for ourselves. I mean, look around you, look at what's going on, and it's like this topic was so timely. I mean, I can't believe I'm like, wow, the importance of order. And when you look around you, there's almost like the opposite of it happening. In the UK, a lot of the part of the world, even in Venezuela, everywhere protest is going on. Um, so we just see how and where God wants to lead us with this topic to help us in our individual lives as well. Thank you, Perpetua. Thank you, Mary. All right, so I have one definition of chaos. Bisola gave it. Please, I'm waiting for the rest. Good evening, Lydia. How are you doing? You're welcome. So help me define chaos in your own words. So we've had the definition of a state of confusion and disorder. If you have another definition, please bring it up. Good evening, patients. You are on time. Well, you are. Thank you for coming. How are you doing? Yes, you don't land. You are welcome. Good evening, Destiny. How are you doing? How are you all doing? You are all welcome. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. And I promise you, I will do my best not to waste your time. Okay? Count your time worth it here. All right. So, Bisola said, chaos is a state of, confusion and disorder, which is a very good definition for chaos. Can someone give me another definition for chaos, please? Okay, so I have another one here. Destiny, huh? Destiny says chaos is a state of complete disorder, confusion, and randomness where things are unclear, unpredictable, and lack control or organization, often resulting in turmoil, upheaval, and uncertainty. You see, another encyclopedia. I said it. Destiny, Debbie, you guys are my dictionary. Thank you so much for this wonderful definition. Chaos is a state of complete disorder, confusion, and randomness. I'm just going to take it one by one. It's confusion. I'm seeing patients also giving almost the same, but then summarize confusion, disorder, causing problems, etc. All right, very good definition, all. And really, this definition actually has everything in it. It's a state of complete disorder, which Bisola also gave us with the confusion, but the randomness is a very interesting one as well. And where things are unclear, it is unpredictable and lack control, or there is no organization, and it often results in turmoil, upheaval. All right, so you have actually given me every bit of what chaos is. Now, the opposite of order, right? When you're in chaos, like the definition we are seeing here, there is lack of predictability. You also have a lack of, I will call it somehow a lack of sense of belonging. Like you are lost. You don't even know what is going on, or um, nothing is at its place. There is disorder. Nothing is at place. So you as individual, you feel lost in all that. Good evening, peace. You are welcome. Thank you for joining. um so there is that lack, that sense of lost in the midst of chaos. And then that control aspect. So patients also say chaos refers to a state of complete disorder or confusion and unpredictable behavior or events. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's the complete opposite of order. That's why the topic, the importance of order. Because when, for you to understand something, you really need to understand what it's not. And so, what order is not is chaos, and chaos is not order. So, when we understand chaos, we'll be able to understand what then order is. That's why I started with the definition of chaos and not the definition of order. When we're able to dismantle what chaos actually is, then you will know, okay, then if the opposite of it is order, then it means I must have this, I must have that, or this must be in place, right? So chaos leads to unpredictability. It also leads to uncontrollable, things. Okay, Destiny says he's breaking down his definition. All right, I beg, give it to us in layman terms. Let me see. Complete disorder. Things are not organized or arranged in a logical way. Okay. Confusion. People are unsure or uncertain about what's happening or what to do. Randomness. Events or actions are happening, just like that. Um, Uncontrolled. They just happen anyhow. All right. And then he says, so events or actions are happening without a clear reason or pattern. Lack of control means no one is in charge or able to manage the situation. Uncertainty, the outcome or future is unknown or unpredictable. It may cause harm. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us. Right? Yes, so Destiny and Debbie are our professors. They'll give you the real dictionary definition. Good evening, Tessie. You are welcome. How are you doing? So yes, chaos is disorder. It's when nothing is at place, and it leads to unpredictability. It leads to uncertainty because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, if you take the what's going on now in the UK, for example, or let's just even take let's take what's going on in the UK in some parts of the UK. Thank God, not everywhere, but in some parts. What they are showing us, at least from social media that I've been following, and I know it's not everything you have to, take or it's not everything on social media that is true, but at the same time, also it's not everything that is on the mainstream media that is true as well. So we always have to be careful where we get our news from. Be critical. So if we take that as an example, we'll realize that there is a lot. I mean, chaos is everywhere. You don't even know if and how the protest is being organized. If they call it protest, but it turns to riots, that's chaos. Protest in itself is not chaos. There can be well controlled protests, like what's going on in most parts in Nigeria. There can be well organized protests. But where there is lack of control, lack of management, lack of organization, then chaos sets in. And that's exactly what is going on. Okay, I saw a definition of Debbie. Let me show it. Debbie says chaos is a state of complete disorder and confusion where there is a lack of organization, structure, or predictability. In this state, normal functioning is disrupted and events or elements appear to occur randomly or uncontrollably. Exactly. So if we take these events as what's going on, you compare the two, you will say, okay, they are all protests, but one is very chaotic, while the other, you see that there is a level of organization. There is a level of, there is a goal. And so protest in itself is not chaos. It is what is done or what is being done in the name of that protest that leads to either chaos or, um, order or disorder. Now, chaos is the opposite of order. I want us to focus on the order in diversity. That's what we want to focus on this evening. The order in diversity. No, no, absolutely not. Protest is actually letting you know that you are unhappy about something and letting your voice be heard so that something will be done. And it's organized, it should be organized. So you organize it in a way, you manifest and you say what you are actually the changes that you would like to see. It's a right given to every citizen, to voice out their whatever they are not happy with. And so you can, through that, demand for a change. It's in itself not chaos. It is how it's organized or how it's carried out, that it becomes chaotic, that leads to chaos, that leads to disorder, that leads to disruption of things. But when you actually organize it well, and you are able to bring your petition for something. So if you are able to bring your petition across, and then, and on the other hand also, you get a listening ear, then the representatives of both parties are called to sit and discuss and come to an agreement. That's what protest is actually normally supposed to lead to an agreement that both parties can agree, accept and live by. But anyways, we are going to leave that for next week, because next week we are going to deal with order in systems and the different systems around us. Today, we are going to focus today on order in diversity. And it was, when I got that, I was like, woo, there is order in diversity. Yes, diversity is a blessing. The maker of us all, the maker of us all, did not make us by accident, did not make nature by accident. And so in the creation of nature, he planted different trees. They were all different, but they all had a purpose. And so there is order. He planted different trees with different fruits that we all enjoy today. And they all have different functions. They all have different vitamins in them that our body needs, most of them. He planted also different flowers, beautiful flowers with different colors, and they all had different functions. Why? They are feeding different insects, different, they give beauty as well to nature. So, in as much as you will say, oh, they are just flowers, those flowers are serving a purpose. Those flowers are sustaining the ecosystem. They are food to the bees, flies. At the same time, the bees and the flies spread the seeds, and then they are multiplied as well. They serve different purposes, but very well needed. So, in as much as they are different, there is still order. I don't know if any of you have seen how ants march to look for food. The ants know exactly when to start preparing for winter. Exactly. The flowers are, even if it's for beauty of the surroundings, like this lawyer, like Destiny, you are saying, it's still serving a purpose. The ants, no one, I mean, we will not say that the ants have brain or sense like we do. Yet they know exactly when and how to start, preparing themselves. And they are organized. If you've seen the ants, we call them ant soldiers, trooping and going, they are organized. When they take food, they pass it on, and the other pass it. They are organized. Like, who taught them that? It's inbuilt in them. There is order inbuilt in them. There is order inbuilt in nature. And when you disrupt them, when you have a group of, ants, you disrupt them, they still follow a certain pattern. They'll follow that where the disruption happened. They'll all follow that to now start to, go back or go and join wherever they were going to. Who taught them that? It is inbuilt in them. So diversity, in as much as you say things are different, everyone is different. But the difference is actually not meant as a threat, but the difference is meant as uh, as something that is supposed to help us, as something that we need. So there is order. There is order in nature. Another example of order in nature, everyone has their place. Everything, let me put it this way, has their place. The ants have their place where they stay, they make their houses. The birds have their place on the trees. They know their place and they stay in their place, right? Except, when are they disrupted? Where when is nature disrupted? Nature is actually disrupted by our actions. We humans, by our actions, we go to disrupt them. We go to cut down their houses with trees because we needed to fix whatever we want to fix, make tables or whatsoever. We build houses close to their habitat, disrupting them, and therefore they also coming close to us and causing harm. But if not that, and if we were all to stay in our areas, there will actually be no serious problem or trespasses. Why? Because that's how it's supposed to be. You have your place, you have your place, we all have our places and order for functions to fulfill. Another thing that chaos does, we say it's disorder. Chaos disrupt. It distracts also from the purpose for which something is created. It disrupts it. Now, take for example, a fish. Fish. The natural habitat for fish is where? Water. Good evening, Rita. I'm doing fine. Good evening, Joy. You're all welcome. I'm doing fine. Thank you. You're welcome. So, the natural habitat for fish is water. Now, what happens? What happens when we go and interrupt, when we go and distract, and when we go and actually remove the fish from its natural habitat and bring it into a tank with no water? What happens? The fish dies. Why? Because it's not in its habitat. What happened there? The purpose for the fish, well, if it's a fish that you can eat, then it's serving its purpose. But if the purpose for the fish was not meant for you to eat it, you have interrupted its purpose. Right? So there is order in creation, in the sense that everything has been given a place and a function to fulfill. And whenever that there is a there is an interruption somewhere, we've created chaos for that particular thing. There is chaos, either created by us or by whatsoever, because nature also can, create chaos. Nature protests by through tsunamis, earthquakes, and all that. It's nature protesting, like, hey, you guys are disrupting me. So nature also disrupt. That is the effect. Cause, there is nothing without effect. Action, reaction, and then reaction, action. That's how it works. So when something is disrupted, it causes what? Chaos. And it leads what? To destruction, as it's being written here. It leads to actually, let me use this word, abortion of purpose. It leads to the abortion of purpose. Why? Because whatever it is that caused that chaos to happen actually has aborted or disrupted, in a way, the purpose of that thing. So we need to be very careful. If we look around us in our, the life that we are living in, there is a lot of things around us that is no longer fulfilling its purpose. We are dealing with diverse, order in diversity. There are a lot of things around us that are no longer fulfilling their purposes. Why? Due to disruption, one way or the other in them. Thank you, Patience. Thank you, Patience. Can you look for the full listen for us so that I'll project it? So Patience gave us a Bible verse. She said, First Corinthians chapter 14, verse 40 talks about order. Can you look for the full verse and give it to us, please? Thank you very much. So it's very important we are aware of the things around us and what their functions are. Because nothing, especially when created by our Maker, was by chance. God did not create the trees by chance. The grass that we see were not created by chance. The flowers, how beautiful and different they are, were not created by chance. They look beautiful, and some of them look so simple, but they are not created by chance. I think the other time I was asking why the purpose for mosquito, why the purpose for mosquito, but again they were also not created by chance. Now along the way there are things that have developed that were not part of creation, but have developed due to how we've been using things, how we humans have kind of interrupt things, how we are combining different things in the name of experiments. And that is where I'm driving to. Because whenever you disrupt the real, the function of the thing, you've actually changed the purpose of it. When it's not operating in its natural habitat, when it's not fully, which way should I put it? When you have taken a thing out of the nature that is meant to be and put it in an environment that is not meant for it, you have disrupted the purpose of it. So that thing will now have to adjust, even though you have create or tried to create the same environment, it's still not the same. Take, for example, caged animals or animals in the zoo. We like to pay to go and see them, but they are not living in their natural habitat. No matter how um, they try to create that natural environment, it's still not the same. Why? Because they have not, and they don't learn. Animals, in captivity, they don't learn how to fend for themselves. They don't learn how to use their natural instincts to defend, to make things, because it's already made. The bird is not going to be making their own house, place to sleep, their net. Why? It's already made. They are in cage. It's already made. So it takes away that particular thing that they had for them to be able to learn, for them to be able to do it, for them to also be able to survive. Patience say chaos can be an opportunity for growth and change. By acknowledging and addressing the causes of chaos, you can work towards creating a more organized, peaceful, and fulfilling life. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the opportunity that chaos can give. But that is, like you rightly said, when you acknowledge, when you are aware of it, you can now do what? Do something or embrace that chaos and change something about it. Okay. So First Corinthians 14, verse 40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. All right. Thank you very much for that. Let it be done decently and in order. Why? It's very important. It's very important that things are done accordingly, that things are done according to how it's supposed to do or how it's supposed to be done. Debbie says, when you evaluate your life, you will discover that there are a lot of things that are not fulfilling its purpose because of disruption, Exactly, my dear. Exactly. So, and it's the same thing with, with the things around us. It's the same thing. First of all, you need to look around you and be aware of those things. What are around me that are actually not fulfilling? They're not doing what they're supposed to do. And why? How come? What have we done or changed, or what has changed in nature due to one thing or the other, our activities, that has caused some things to change? Because under normal circumstances, according to the plan and purpose of creation, everything has a purpose, everything has a function, and everything was planned. Nothing was randomly. God does not do things randomly because God is a God of order, right? And we know randomness from the definition that Destiny gave us. Randomness is actually linked with what? Chaos. So when things are done randomly, there is no planning, there is no foresight, there is no reason why. It's just, okay, we do this, and then based on what we do, well, we do that. There is just no thinking going on there, and that's how most of us are living our lives randomly, chaotic. Back to diversity. God created all things what? Good and beautiful. It's there. He created all things good and beautiful. Everything. The lion is beautiful in their own ways. I love the lion, by the way. Not for their beauty. Mm-mm. I admire them for their courage. I admire the lion for their courage, because the lion is really not that. My son said one time, he said he loves animals. He loves studying animals, and he said, "You know what, Mama? The lions are actually not that smart. They are not that smart. Yet they are feared amongst their peers. Why? Because they are courageous. The only thing that differentiates the lion from any other is the mindset. They are courageous. They go for their goal. Now, the lion is not only the cat-like animals out there. You also have the cheetah, which is faster than the lion. But the lion is somehow more courageous. So there are things in creation, putting in creation, to what? Aid them, to help them, to assist them. And by this, actually creating order. There are things in creation, inbuilt. We don't need to look outside for them. They are inbuilt in them. And because they are inbuilt, those are the principles. Once they are, actually, once they start working on them, automatically there is order. Automatically there is what? Order. Why? Because they are working according to how they are supposed to work, and they are fulfilling the purpose for which they are created. What are the things around us fulfilling? What purpose are they fulfilling? Are they fulfilling the purpose that they are created for? Or are they being used? There was the time, sometimes here in the West, we see a lot, dog, a lot of our people have pets. Our people, I mean, the people that we came to meet, they have pets. And it's funny how some of them, treat their pets. I mean, in Ghana, I had pets, I had dogs as well. But in Africa, we have a different way of dealing with our pets. But sometimes you will see a pet being carried, a dog being carried like a baby. Seriously, being dressed up. and all that. And I ask myself, okay, now, so what is the purpose of that dog now? And what was the dog actually created for? A dog being carried around, they cannot even walk long, and then they are tired. But normally dogs are, they walk, they run, they can go for a long time. That's why they have four legs, to but once they are petted in a way that the normal things that they are supposed to do for themselves, they can't do anymore. It becomes a problem. I think 2 days ago, I was also discussing with my children about, the advantages of having a pet back home in my case in Ghana, and here my dog will go and do whatever they needed to do by themselves and come back. you know, they know what to do. They dig a hole, cover. They do what they need to do. Why? No one taught them. It's in them naturally. They do it. But when you look over here, because the system is different, they are not. They don't even know they don't even know how to do that. Except for those ones that their owners have really trained them. But most of the other ones, I mean, they are doing whatever, and the owners will have to, use plastic to pick. I'm very sorry, I'm being a bit, but they need to pick it up from the street. I'm like, seriously? We started having that discussion because they want a dog, and I'm like, no way. I'm not bringing a dog in this house because you have to be ready to, go out there and be picking up their things as you move on the way, because the dogs are no longer being trained, to be themselves. And so their natural instinct is no longer active, it's no longer there, it's not fulfilling that which is meant to. Except again, the owners intentionally, purposely train them the way that will bring their natural instinct as they ought to. The same thing with cats. I mean, in Africa, cats, they go and they are free. They prefer to be free. They go and come. But when a cat is so domesticated that they don't even know that they and rats don't see eye for eye, a cat will see a rat and will want to play with the rat. While in actual essence, rats supposed to run away when, as soon as they see a cat. Why? Because cats will chase them. So the natural instinct is just no longer there. A rat will be playing around the house while the cat is in the house. You'll be like, what is the purpose of the cat? Some people get cats to chase rats. So if that is the purpose, then you train the cat in a way that immediately they see the rat, they know what to do. Their natural instincts, you don't even have to train them that. Their natural instincts set in. But it is when they now become over pampered, when they now, completely the other way around, they lose their natural instincts. And then they see rat, and rat is like toy. It's toy to them. Just play with it, and So how we how should I put this? It's very important when we are dealing with things and animals, nature, the purpose for which they are created. If we now start using them wrongly, they don't fulfill that purpose. We create chaos. We create chaos because we are changing the order of things. We are changing the order of their purpose. And that is what is causing a lot of problems for us in nature. Now, some might say, oh, what is my business with nature? Well, it's everything. It's everything, because nature is created to serve us. And so if that nature is no longer fulfilling its purpose, then it's no longer servicing you. It is no longer serving you, and it becomes a problem because you struggle. Then you now will not be able to fulfill your own purpose because that which is supposed to help you along the way is not there. Nothing is randomly created. Nothing is created without a purpose. I repeat it again. It is very important that we know this. It's very important we realize that we cannot create or we cannot treat nature and things around us anyhow and expect blessings from them. It doesn't work like that. You cannot treat nature or what around you, things around anyhow, and expect those same things in return to bless you. It doesn't work like that. If you think when just an example of how nature helped man. When David was fighting, or when Absalom was chasing his father, wasn't it a tree that caught him? Was that tree not fighting for David? Wait, Lydia says, oh yes, ma'am. For instance, cat has a purpose why God created it, but now people are using it against. Oh my dear, seriously, cat is used for other things, but cat has its purpose. Now we know, and that is something that we need to be aware of. Once you start tampering with nature, once you start tampering with the created and their purpose, the effect, we might not be able to foresee their effects, but we will feel them. For example, crossbreeding of animals. It was never supposed to happen. It was never supposed to happen. That's tampering with nature, and we have tempered. When I say we, we humans, we have tempered with nature so many times with crossbreeding and so forth, and creating different species, different types, different um, without having the full knowledge of the consequences of what we are creating, and it's still going on. Different creatures are being combined together to create new things. Hmm. Without us knowing their consequences, without us knowing what is going to cause, because we are not the creator of the origin. And so, whatever you are not the creator of the origin, you can never foresee the effect of that which you are creating based on the origin. You can't. Because the one that created the original has a purpose, had a plan, has a way why they were supposed to be created, and created them that way. And we now come because we think we are so enlightened to put one plus one and this and make it to be something else. And we say, voila, it's breathing, it's barking. Well, it's a dog, right? It's meowing, it's a cat. But what is the effect at the end of the day, and what is the purpose of it? We don't know. We cannot foresee it until it's too late. Sometimes we are like, oh yeah, they are fun to watch. Oh yes, they are fun to see. Yes, they're all that. But do you know the consequences? I remember while growing up in Ghana, I was in one boarding school in a city called Insawam. And that place has a lot of snakes and different types of snakes. Why? Because there used to be a man that started breeding snakes for whatsoever reason. People said he used to be a ritualist. I don't know, I was young then. But that place when they caught him, so eventually he was arrested, and then the snakes, got loose. And so it was quite a scary thing because there were all kinds of snakes. And I think he also crossed, so different types of snakes. And they are poisonous. The level of their poison was not all that known. There was so much different types of snakes. He had a lot of snakes. He was, for whatever reason the man was doing this. Well, they said he was, from the story I heard anyway, that he was a ritualist or whatsoever. But because of that man, in someone became, snake infested because of what he was doing. That is tampering with nature. That is not the purpose of it. It is not as if he was doing research for, um, against the poison, because most of the antidotes for poison comes from also other snakes. So we know that, but he was not using it for that. He was not doing experiments to see which poison, which snake is the antidote, or from which snakes can you get which. He wasn't. It was a different thing that he was using them for, and breeding them quite a lot. And then the effect was what? A whole place, a whole city was really dangerous because of the actions of one person. So, in as much as we want to do things, we need to do them according to the order that they are meant for. We need to do them according to the order of things. Because, like I said, there is order in the creation itself. There is order. So, if you want to like, here they have labs with really all kinds of uh, snakes, and me, we can't, we don't agree. So but they have labs that they do the research, and I believe we have them also in Africa. We have the labs that you do research for which kind of, um venom, to create which kind of antidote. But if you are not using it for the purpose of medicine, and in that sense, you are not actually crossbreeding, you are not um, going against the order, you are actually looking for solution. It's a different thing. It is a different thing. That is where the planned, the organizing, comes in. It's a different thing. You are not creating chaos, you are trying to bring order in chaos. That's a different thing. So in most cases, for you to be able to bring order in chaos, you need to first know what is causing the chaos, and what is the solution you can do to make sure that that chaos does not what come again, or happen again, or arise again. Or if it happens, you have then the medicine for it. You have then the solution for it. So you need to study it. It's a different thing. You are not disrupting the natural flow of it. You are studying it. You are actually studying the process, how it is starting, what is it, what is exactly the component of it, and how can we dismantle it. It's completely different than being in that same lab and then saying, okay, let's this one, this type, and this type, let's breed them together and see if we can get a very powerful, more poisonous species. That's a complete different thing altogether. So if we want to get the best out of nature and the diversity in nature that is a blessing, we ought to have an understanding of how this nature is made up in the first place. We need to have an understanding of how it functions, what the purpose is, before we start interrupting it, before we start doing what is not meant to be done, before we start creating other species we have no idea what kind of chaos they are going to cause. Why? Because we don't have their antidote. We don't have their solution to whatever chaos because you have not seen it. You have not predicted it. You can't know it. And there's a lot of things in this our today life that we are living on experiments. Everything is being experimented with. Everything is being experimented with. And that is so wrong because we are actually shifting away from the original purpose of things, trying to create our own without knowing the consequences. While the maker of it, the original planner of it, knew, knows, but we are creating our own. Yes, we are made co-creators, but we are supposed to create in accordance to the principles, in accordance to what is already in the order that is already in creation. We are supposed to respect it and walk along with it. That is where we become more effective. That is when we are using nature to, you are partnering with nature to do things. Nature is useful. You are useful. There is a blessing. But if we don't, what are we doing? I mean, there was a time, um, I think now we are becoming more and more aware of our surroundings, more and more aware that we need to really take care of our things. And so throwing plastics and stuff like that, it's dangerous for the surroundings. It's dangerous for the environment. Now, some people might say, "Oh, what do I care if the birds survive or not?" Well, you should care because the function of the bird helps on certain things, helps more fruits to grow as well. You should care that nature survives because if nature survives, there is a future for you. But if nature does not survive, then your future is the chances is quite slim. So if you create chaos for nature, it's automatically chaos for you too. And we have seen the definitions of chaos. It leads to what? Unpredictability. Whatever you cannot predict, you can't control. No matter how we think we are in control, no matter what, if you cannot predict it, and that is where sometimes that is also the problem we have with faith, right? Because faith is actually the opposite of having control. It's actually saying, I hand over. I don't know, but I hand over. But the difference is you know to who you are handing over. You know, and that's where your faith is. That's the difference. When it comes to nature and the uncontrollability of things, you don't know. You don't know, so you can't predict it. And so, since you cannot predict it, you are what? Bound to live in fear, uncertainty, and we have already seen what it leads to. You start making decisions randomly. You don't think ahead. You don't see the future. Why? Because you are in perpetual chaos. You are in perpetual chaos. So it's very important that we begin to see and appreciate the very nature that the Lord has blessed us with, the very nature that has order in it before we interrupted it. That is the environment we are made to survive. Like the example I gave of the fish, you remove the fish from its natural habitat. What happens? The fish dies. Now let them remove you from your natural habitat. Why haven't they moved to Mars since? Because they can't survive. Our body, the makeup is not meant to survive the environment of Mars. That's not what it's made for. The body, us, in all our diversity, is made to survive this planet Earth. And the condition, the environment of planet Earth is made to help us survive. It works hand in hand. Remove us from this planet Earth, put us on Mars or whatever other planet, we die. We are not made for that. We are not made for that environment, and that environment is not made for us. Why are we? We are busy following, chasing other things, and not paying attention of the natural habitats that we are made to survive in. This might sound like, oh, what? But if it is not important, God will not have made it first. God created first nature, the environment. He created first the environment, the conditions for us to survive, for all nature. He created first nature before creating us, to place us in it and giving us authority over nature. Not to destroy it, but to appreciate and to work in accordance with the laws already inbuilt in it, giving them order and predictability, so that we can be able to survive. See, there are a lot of things going on, a lot of floods, a lot of, a lot of earthquakes, a lot of things going on. It is not because it's just nature. No, it's due to our activities and how we have interrupted, distracted the purpose of nature so many times that it's now what? Protesting. Now, once in a while, nature needs to protest, like, hey, you guys are disrupting me. You guys, my destiny or whatever I am created for is being disrupted. This abortion of purpose. And so I think we just really need to start waking up and take care of ourselves, our environment as well, because we are meant to survive in those environments. But before we can survive, we need to make sure that we bless the environment and the environment will bless us. There is a purpose for everything. Nothing is created by chance. The different species of birds, they are not meant only for beauty. They have their purposes. They have their purposes. The different flowers, they are beautiful, but they are not meant only for beauty. The plants with different fruits. Why? We said the apple that Adam and Eve ate apple. Well, we don't know if it was apple, but we just use apple as an example. We don't really know. It's a debate going on. It's a debate, but most Bible stories use apple. But there are a lot of different kinds of fruits, because he created different trees with fruit bearing different fruits. You know, they were bearing different fruits. We have mangoes, we have oranges, we have all kinds of fruits. Why? They have a purpose. They have all different nutrition value for our bodies. They all have different nutrition values that our body needs. Otherwise, we would have made just one thing. But God, in His infinite wisdom, made diverse plants and fruits for us. As well as He made us. We are part of nature, also different. He made us all different for a purpose. But we are one. He made us all different, but we are one. I mean, They cannot give, if you fall sick and go to the hospital, they cannot give you dog's blood. You need the blood of another human being. Color does not matter. Color does not matter when you are at the point of your need. When you need an organ, they are not going to, it is now they're experimenting with organs of pigs. But you need another human beings, an organ from another human beings to survive. It doesn't matter with the color. To tell you we are one. To tell you there is no difference between black, yellow. Besides, I'm going to leave this for another time. Because that's going to, we are starting a whole new section. So I'm going to leave it for another time. I see that our time is far spent. So we are going to continue. This whole month is dedicated to the importance of order. And so today we were taking it from the order in nature, in diversity. There is order in diversity. There is a reason why everything is made in a different way for different purposes, but all equally needed. And next week, by His grace, we are going to see the systems. How are they made? Why? And the man-made systems. And then we will gradually come back to us, the individual in this whole process. All right. So I hope, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And I hope, like I promised, that your time will not be wasted, that it was not wasted. So I'll see you all by the grace of God next week, where we will be going deeper into this order and why, we must do everything to avoid chaos. Thank you so much for the definitions. Thank you for, helping with the definition, because they say a lot. Thank you all. See you next week by His grace. Thank you. God bless you. Bye bye. And I'm going to come back. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for those that made the videos concerning brokenness. I really appreciate. I hope you've been seeing, I've been putting some online. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking your time to do it. God bless you. If you still want to do it, please feel free. Make make a short video clip of an incident or anything concerning brokenness, either from your own life or from someone close to you that and what you learned from it, or whatever came out of it. All right. Thank you all so much. Be blessed. Good night. Bye.